Oh, Connor. I guess most people right now who have heard the news about McGregor are just rolling their eyes, being like, yeah, you know what? I knew he was a bad guy, not a good person. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the fact that he lost a civil trial for sexual assault, more so rape, had to pay $250,000, said he's going to appeal it, but there's lots to talk about here. There's lots to talk about what type of fighters are able to make it to that very high level, because this does seem like a reoccurring theme with some of these superstars within the world. In addition, I also want to talk about some of the other athletes who choose to go the route of OnlyFans, etc., all those different ways to make money, not necessarily in the full-on negative way you might think, because life changes, I would assume, dramatically when you start bringing in this type of money, have this type of fame. But at the same time, I am a person who is putting moral standards on people very high, expecting a lot, mostly because it's been a part of my upbringing, ingrained from a very, very young age, partially due to my parents, partially due to martial arts. You set out to become a good person. So I'm kind of back and forward on this. I want to talk about both elements. And I know this is a sticky subject. You know, a lot of times it's just a lot easier on the channel to just be like, oh, here's how we throw a jab. Oh, there was a UFC fight last night. Let's talk about what played out. But you do have to cover some of the stories sometimes that a lot of people maybe have their own opinion about, are going to be very upset with you. But I'm fine. I'm fine with some people not agreeing with me. Before we get to all that, I want to remind everybody that we have a massive Black Friday sale happening at Strike Ready, offense course, defense course, and my academy, which has weekly videos that drop every Friday. It's all on sale now. Check it out. I'm gonna run a little trailer for that, and then we'll get back into this action here. Right now is the perfect opportunity to up your striking skills, both in terms of offense and defense. And why am I gonna be able to assist you in improving your striking skills? Well, just like Alex Pereira, I'm a former Glory champion. I have 2 belts with him, and I know what it takes to become a champion. My Strike Ready program is a complete fight system for striking sports. This is the best deal of the year. You will have access to my Strike Ready defense course, my Strike Ready assault course, and our weekly videos in Strike Ready Academy. And if you buy these programs individually, they are valued at $419.86. But for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, you can get all 3 for $99. That's a savings of over $320. This is a limited time offer and only happens once per year. Grab that Strike Ready package and start improving your striking skills at an exponential rate. There is coaching advice here that only a 6-time pro world champion and a 2-time Glory world champion can deliver to you. So recently, the jury determined that Conor McGregor raped a woman. That part to me is, right? Everybody, doesn't matter who you're with, right? Man or woman, woman or man, you should be very, very aware of talking to people, young guys out there, talking to people and making sure everything is consensual, of course. But you know, on the flip side, guys, you need to be careful. You need to make sure that you are obviously respecting ladies, making sure that what you want is what they want, but you need to protect yourself. And that's something that I've also had taught to me since I was very young. So much so that I've had times where, you know, I've been downtown, not so much anymore late at night, I don't really bother with that, but you know, I'd be coming back from hanging out with some people or at the gym late and driving home at like, you know, 11, 12, sometimes even a little beyond that, which is pretty late for me. And you see a girl on the side of the road who's drunk, who has her hand up, or her thumb up. And I go, oh, I really would love to pick her up. Don't know who she is, but make sure she's safe, make sure she gets home safe. I'm fine. I would be fine with doing that, helping somebody out. Just being like, okay, yeah, hop in. Where do you want to go? drop them off, make sure nobody else bugs them, nobody does anything bad to them. But you got to be careful. And I've walked away from those situations because you don't know what somebody's going to say once they get into your car, once they get into your hotel room. If something does happen and it's all consensual and then the person decides to change their mind, I don't know why they would do that, but it's not impossible, and I know that. I know it's not impossible. I know people who have been victim to accusations which are not true. Now, I'm not saying that's the case with McGregor, but I'm saying remember to keep an open mind in situations. He is worth a lot of money. He did have to pay. To me, most people, $250,000 would sound like a lot of money, but to him, it's nothing. It actually seems super low to me. So anyway, on with the story. McGregor vowed to appeal the decision, and apparently he regrets for cheating on his longtime fiance, who is also the mother of his 4 children, Dee Devlin. And that's a spot where I'm kind of like, oh, okay, yes, the charges are terrible. I hope they're not true. But if they are, that's awful. But either way, he's not denying cheating. And when you're somebody like McGregor, somebody who achieves such monumental fame, you know what's going to come with that. You know women are going to be throwing themselves at you, and not everyone is going to have the strength to turn down people. And when you see McGregor, you see him even in videos, like sort of partying and stuff, and there's all these ladies around him, and you're kind of like, oh, where's his fiance? She's not around. Like, yeah, that kind of tells you all you need to know right there. I am not a big fan of that element, you know, the cheating element. I think if you're with somebody, it's nice to commit and not be that person who cheats, but again, that's just me. What else do we got here? McGregor's still saying, oh, he's got dropped, by the way. He gets dropped by Proper 12, which was one of the whiskey company which he helped found, as I understand. So they're no longer associated with him, although he must have been bought out, because I thought he was a partial owner, but that must have changed a while ago. One of the characters in a popular Hitman video game series, McGregor character, has been removed. So the big question when we see these companies disconnect from a celebrity who does something wrong, I'm kind of like, but you guys already must have known to a certain extent who he was. Like, yeah, he was selling, yeah, he was good for the brand, but is anybody ever been, like, aside from people who know him really well, being like, oh, Conor, he's such a good person. He just screams integrity, like class act all the way. No, nobody thinks that. A big part of the reason people go to McGregor is because he has the big following, because he has the ability to draw people in. And that's a big reason, whether you love him or hate him, you were there watching because he has that persona. And it begs the question for me, having that ability like Mayweather, like McGregor, to be so hated, but make so much money. Do you have an innate, I don't want to say evilness, but something that is less than ideal inside you? Because these guys can sell fights. And I know for a fact that McGregor, not McGregor, Mayweather, even though he kind of seemed like he was getting better and better to the end of his career, millions and millions of dollars were spent keeping him out of the news for bad things he did. And I know that because I knew some guys in the Pacquiao camp, and they were telling me, like, as the Mayweather Pacquiao fight were coming up, they're like, yeah, so much money gets spent avoiding the bad press which Mayweather would create in his day-to-day life. But maybe that's just a part of how these guys excel, the massive belief they have in themselves to be like, yeah, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, I'm this, I'm that. And maybe with that comes that change when you start to get money. Like, maybe you're already partially there, but now you have this power, now you have this admiration, people love you, and now you can kind of set loose that little bit of a evilness inside you. That's a question. Actually, an interesting story. I was over filming with Hard to Hurt, Icy Mike, last year at some point, and we had the guys in the room, and the conversation about somebody like Paige Van Zandt came up, and talking about OnlyFans and how she moved away from fighting. She was making so much more money on OnlyFans, and how so many people are like, Paige, sellout, negative, blah, blah, blah. And Icy Mike, he was just like, guys, come on. Like, tell me none of you in the room or any of the people out there who are complaining would not take that opportunity. If you could go on and make like $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 million a year posting pictures of yourself, tell me you wouldn't do it. And as he said that, I was like, yeah, I kind of agree with him. Like, it's very easy to be all high and mighty until the money is there and you go, wow, this is a much easier way to live. This is maybe a fun way to live. Maybe, yes, to a certain extent, you have to sell yourself, and that is what some of these fighters do, right? They have to sell themselves, and they make a lot of money for it. So do I believe that, you know, McGregor is a terrible, evil person? I'm not going to say yes or no to that because I don't know the case. I don't know whether the sex between this person in the court case was consensual or not. I don't know if she's just trying to get an easy dollar out of him. I don't know any of that. But I do know from what we've seen with McGregor, he is not somebody who is able to present himself like George St. Pierre. Do I know if George is a super good, awesome dude? He portrays it. I don't know that for sure, but he sure portrays it. But with everything he accomplished, he still did not achieve the amount of money that McGregor did, and maybe that's what you need to get to that very, very top level. It's all interesting to me because, again, in martial arts, we have so much taught, assuming we're not just simply a fighter. For a fighter, maybe we're not taught this, but as a martial artist, we are taught about respect, humility, all sorts of other elements of how to be a better person, how to treat other people better. And it is something that I expect personally fighters to portray. And it's why I get a little bit upset sometimes where we see people who are not going about that route. They're not being a good role model for others. And it kind of is what it is. But the more I see them, the more I recognize the mental side of this sport, how difficult it is to climb to the top, how difficult it is to break through and get millions and millions of people who are following your every move. I go, whoa. These guys might have cracked the code. They might have something innately within them which allows them to be that star. Do I want to be that person? No, I don't think I could. I don't think that's who I am at all. I'll go in, I'll fight my heart out, I'll train, but I don't think I have those other elements. So the whole McGregor thing, I don't really have a word for it aside from just it's kind of bad taste in your mouth just thinking about that kind of stuff. And I hope more of the fighters at the top level, even people like John Jones, you know, the very good fighter, very, very good, but so much negativity around him because he's doing bad things all the time. I hope we get more people who choose to go the Wonder Boy or GSP route because, yeah, I did a video recently talking about the negativity around fighters. We don't want that. We don't want people thinking that anybody who's involved in martial arts, because of these few select people, we don't want them thinking all martial artists are bad. And it's a tricky little thing, but I'm sure you saw in the news all the stuff about McGregor. I wanted to touch on it, and I just wanted everybody to hear what I had to say. Hear what I had to say about it. Do we see McGregor back very soon to fighting? I feel like this is going to slow that process down, if it's even possible to slow it down more than it has been. There's probably so much stuff to do now, so many bridges burnt and things to deal with. Maybe the best thing he could do for himself is just get back into training camp and start fighting, but you have to assume that it's unlikely. And it's too bad because he is a spectacular fighter. The stuff he accomplished in the past was incredible. He was fun to watch at press conferences, but just a very good chance that, you know, they're not a good martial artist, not a great person, but a great fighter, definitely.